Good morning, y'all. Good morning, Gallivanters. So we are still on the NC 500, and we thought it would be a good idea to show you guys, for those of you that haven't traveled internationally, or at least to the UK, kind of some of the differences in the hotel rooms. The one we're in right now is probably a pretty good example of a lot of things. There's still a few things that we hope we'll catch in some other of our hotels to give you a kind of comprehensive look at the differences in the hotels here versus what we're used to in the U.S.
Exactly. And there are some differences for the most part. I mean, we're in kind of a basic hotel room that you would see in the States. We're just in a chain hotel.
Yeah, a kind of a mid-range, almost, we're really kind of high-end budget chain. So, pretty standard room.
Yeah. So we're just going to show you some of the differences and what you might need to look out for and know. Okay, so one of the first things is the outlets. In the UK, you have the three-prong outlet. You have to have a converter. Make sure you have a converter. We have one that has the UK, I think Australia, the US, and China?
Maybe Asia. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a converter and it has USBs in it also. So anyway, just make sure that you have the three-prong, and you have to make sure that you flip this switch. That is actually off. But if you flip it down, and a lot of times on some of the older switches, you'll see when you flip it down, it'll say on and it'll be like orange. Yeah. But this is a newer one, so it doesn't say that. But most of the time when you push it down, that's on. And you have to make sure you turn that on or else nothing will charge or work.
Right.
So, and we have found in a lot of the newer ones, they are now putting actual USB ports in different places, especially by the beds. Yeah. So that's a good thing to know.
All right, y'all. The next thing is, you know, we've mentioned before, you're probably not going to get AC in any of the hotels over here. I mean, there's a few that have them. A lot of them may provide fans if it's warm, but you're going to have heat. Some of it's wall heat, radiator heat. Some of it is more modern, where it's like central heat, just heat, not air. But be aware that it is going to be in Celsius. So you'll kind of need to know that conversion if you like it at a certain temperature. So just for a frame of reference, if maybe you like it kind of an even 70, that's going to be somewhere between 21 and 21.5 degrees Celsius. And they do use the half marks on Celsius.
Okay, the next thing is which I personally love this idea, better than an actual coffee pot. Now you would have to like instant coffee, but over here it just seems different and it's decent, it's good. But most hotel rooms, if they even have coffee available in the hotel room, they have kettles. And they are just electric kettles. Once again, it's plugged into a switch, so you need to make sure that it's turned on. But you turn it on, and most of them have a little switch here, and you just push that down, and it just starts boiling. Now, this is also good if, say, you get in late, you haven't had time to grab something to eat, because there are places around here that close early. So it's also good if you happen to stop at a store, you have instant noodles. This will heat up your instant noodles so you can have that, or even oatmeal, or I don't know, porridge is what they call it, something instant like that takes hot water. These are great. And that way you can get your belly full before you go to sleep.
All right, y'all. So pardon the noise. The fan automatically comes on in the bathroom when you turn on the light. A couple of things in the bathroom. The first is what we've noticed over here is they're going to these sort of self-dispensing soap dispensers almost everywhere. They're even in the shower. Part of that, I think, is more of an eco-friendly, getting rid of single-use plastics, which is great. But I think more of it has come about during COVID. Now, I don't know if that's just because they had time to do the switchover or what, but pretty much everywhere we've stayed has had this now here in the UK. Another thing is, just so you know, again, if you haven't been here or traveled elsewhere, to flush the toilet, there's not a lever here. It's a button. And some will have just a 1 or a 2. This one doesn't. If you press that, the whole thing goes in anyway. But some will actually be separate buttons for 1 and 2, and actually 1 and 2 equates to whichever business you did in the toilet. So, it's a water saver thing. So, if you just did a 1, then you hit the 1 and it uses less water. So that's the toilet flushing situation. Now, the shower, the tub, we've got 2 shower heads, we've got a tub, we've got all kinds of stuff going on. And then you've got this sort of different looking control center. It's not as complicated as it looks. This one turns on water, this one controls your temperature, and obviously that's tub. If you want it up here, you pull this up. That happens. Now that's coming out of this one. You'll notice there's another switch here. If I move that, it should change it to the fixed one. So, not complicated, but if you're tired or just waking up, it looks like a lot of different knobs that we're not used to. So, it's really not complicated at all. But that is a pretty common setup in Europe. So just one more difference for you guys to be aware of.
Okay, and probably, I think this might be our last one, Keycards. And these run all of your electricity, even your air conditioning if you have it, heat, whatever. And you have to make sure that you stick your key card in there to make everything work. They have these a lot on cruise ships. If you've ever been on a cruise, that's how you control the electricity. And as you can see, it just went out. So if I stick that back in there, then everything comes back on. So make sure, and a lot of times they give you one room key. And I know that they do that to save energy and probably being eco-friendly and all that. But a lot of times we will get 2. If we're staying for, longer than 1 night, we'll get 2 key cards, especially if it's hot, because that way we can keep the room cool while we're out roaming around and being adventurous.
Or cold.
Or cold, yeah. It will keep the heat going. Yeah. But anyway, just make sure, and a lot of times they will tell you about that, but make sure that if they don't, when you come in, if nothing's working, look for one of these little doogies here and stick your key card in there. Okay, and one more thing that we just realized that is different is hair dryers. A lot of the hotels, have hair dryers available for you to use. But the one thing is, you will not find any outlets in the bathrooms in Europe. The only type of outlet that you will find is for shavers only. And it says that on there, shavers only. So be aware that if there is a hair dryer, it's going to be outside of the bathroom in one of the drawers. Some, like we have here, they are outside, and a lot of times they do provide you obviously with a mirror close to it, but they have it plugged up out here. And once again, you have to flip the switch.
Just to add to the hair dryer, that also goes for, flat irons, any of those kinds of things. You got to be really careful with those and make sure that you do in fact have a true converter, not just an adapter, or you're probably fry your your appliances there. So just be very aware of that.